The silent fleet captain Mark Stone stood on the bridge of the Phantom Dawn, watching the stars bend around his ship's hull. The vessel moved through space like a ghost, invisible to every sensor known to galactic civilization. Around him, 200 similar ships drifted in perfect formation, their dark matter cores humming with contained power. "Sir, we're approaching the Helix Nebula," reported Lieutenant Kate Mills from her station. "The Alliance fleet should be visible soon." Stone nodded. For 3 years, humanity had worked in secret, building a fleet that defied everything the galaxy thought possible. While other species argued over trade routes and territorial disputes, Earth scientists had cracked the mystery of dark matter manipulation. The result floated around him now: ships that could phase between dimensions, invisible to conventional detection. The Galactic Trade Alliance had ruled space for over 1,000 years. 5 major species controlled every hyperspace lane, every profitable world, every resource deposit worth having. They treated younger races like children, offering scraps while keeping the real power for themselves. Humanity had tried diplomacy for decades, only to be dismissed as primitive newcomers. That changed when Dr. Lisa Park made her breakthrough. Deep in a laboratory beneath the Swiss Alps, she had found a way to harness the universe's hidden foundation. Dark matter wasn't just invisible, it existed partially outside normal spacetime. Ships powered by dark matter cores could slip between realities, becoming undetectable phantoms. There, Stone pointed to the main screen, the Alliance fleet. Before them sprawled the largest military formation in galactic history. 800 vessels from 5 different species, their hulls gleaming with advanced alloys and energy shields. The sleek ships of the bird-like Keth floated alongside the massive dreadnoughts of the reptilian Vorth. Crystal vessels belonging to the energy-based Lux pulsed with inner light, while the blocky warships of the Krim and insectoid Nex filled the remaining space. "They're beautiful," whispered Mills. "They're about to become obsolete," Stone replied. The Alliance had gathered here to discuss humanity's latest petition for full membership. Earth's representatives waited aboard the flagship, hoping for a fair hearing. They would be disappointed. Stone had seen the intercepted communications. The Alliance planned to reject humanity again, offering only associate status with heavy restrictions. "All ships, this is Phantom Command," Stone spoke into his communicator. "Prepare for revelation protocol. On my mark, we show them what humans can really do." His fleet had spent months positioning themselves throughout Alliance space. Dark matter ships hung invisible above every major world, every important station, every military installation. The Alliance had no idea they were being watched, cataloged, analyzed. "Sir, incoming transmission from the Alliance flagship," reported Communications Officer Tom Reed. "They're broadcasting to Earth's diplomatic vessel." Stone watched as the familiar drama unfolded. Admiral Vex of the Keth spoke with condescending politeness, explaining why humanity wasn't ready for true partnership. The human ambassador, Robert Cole, listened with practiced patience as his people were dismissed once again. "Same old story," muttered Mills. "We're too young, too aggressive, too unpredictable." "They're right about unpredictable," Stone smiled, grimly. Beginning Phase 1. All ships, drop stealth in 3, 2, 1. 200 phantom ships suddenly materialized around the Alliance fleet. The dark matter vessels appeared like ghosts becoming solid, their angular black hulls reflecting no light. Panic spread through the Alliance formation as sensors screamed warnings about ships that shouldn't exist. "This is Captain Stone of Earth's dark matter fleet," he broadcast on all frequencies. "Greetings to our galactic neighbors. We thought it was time for a proper introduction." The response was immediate chaos. Alliance ships scrambled to battle stations, weapons charging, shields powering up. But their targeting systems couldn't lock onto the phantom vessels. The dark matter ships flickered between dimensions, solid one moment and incorporeal the next. "Impossible," gasped Admiral Vex over the open channel. "Our sensors show nothing. These ships don't exist." "Oh, we exist," Stone replied calmly. "We've been watching you for quite some time. Your security is remarkably poor when you can't see what's coming. To prove his point, Stone transmitted detailed intelligence reports, classified Alliance military plans, private communications between species leaders, secret agreements that violated their own laws, information that should have been impossible for humans to obtain. The Alliance fleet found itself surrounded by phantoms, their most guarded secrets laid bare. In one moment, the balance of galactic power had shifted forever. Stone opened another channel to Ambassador Cole's ship. "Mr. Ambassador, I believe your negotiating position just improved significantly." Admiral Vex's voice cracked across the communication channels. "This is an act of war. No species has the right to deploy unknown technology against the Alliance." Captain Stone remained perfectly calm. "War, Admiral? We've simply introduced ourselves properly. After all, you've been making decisions about humanity's future without knowing what we're capable of." On the bridge of the Alliance flagship Eternal, harmony, chaos reigned. The Keth Admiral's feathers stood on end as his officers struggled to understand what they faced. Scanner displays showed empty space where human ships clearly existed. Targeting computers refused to lock onto vessels their own eyes could see. "How are they doing this?" demanded General Crux of the Vorth, his reptilian features twisted in frustration. The massive general had commanded fleets for 3 centuries, but never faced an enemy he couldn't even target. The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Mira Shen of the Lux Collective manifested her energy form on the bridge's central platform. The Lux were beings of pure thought and electromagnetic fields, capable of existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "They're using dark matter," she announced, her form flickering with agitation. "These humans have weaponized the universe's foundation layer. Their ships exist partially outside our reality." Aboard the Phantom Dawn, Stone watched the Alliance fleet struggle with their new reality. Some ships attempted to flee, only to find phantom vessels matching their every move. Others tried to form defensive positions, but how do you defend against enemies that can phase through your shields? "Sir, we're receiving over 300 communication requests," reported Reed. "Every Alliance vessel wants to talk." "Patch through the senior commanders only," Stone decided. "Let's have a proper conversation." Soon the communication array filled with the faces of the galaxy's most powerful military leaders, bird-like Keth officers with their sharp beaks and intelligent eyes, massive Vorth generals with their armored scales, crystalline Lux entities that shifted between solid and energy forms, the insectoid necks with their compound eyes and clicking mandibles, and the militaristic Krim with their blue skin and technological implants. "What do you want?" growled Commander Thax of the Necks, his translated voice sharp with anger. Stone considered the question carefully. Around him, his bridge crew waited for his response. These weren't just Earth's finest military officers. They were volunteers, who had left behind families and careers to serve in humanity's shadow fleet. They deserved to know their sacrifice had meaning. "We want what we've always wanted," Stone said finally. "Recognition, respect, a place at the table where decisions about galactic civilization are made." "You have that," insisted Admiral Vex. "Associate membership provides..." "Associate membership provides nothing," Stone interrupted. "We get to listen while you make decisions, then follow orders like obedient children. That's not partnership, Admiral. That's subordination." The Phantom Fleet began a demonstration that drove the point home. Dark matter ships phased through Alliance vessels, their hulls passing harmlessly through shields and armor. They appeared inside cargo bays, engine rooms, and command centers before ghosting back into dimensional flux. The message was clear. No, Alliance ship was safe from boarding if humans chose to act. "This is a violation of every treaty governing space warfare," protested General Vorth, though his voice lacked conviction. "What treaties?" asked Stone. "Humanity never signed agreements that we weren't allowed to help create. You can't hold us to laws we had no voice in making." Dr. Shen's energy form pulsed, with what might have been understanding. "The humans have a point. We've excluded them from governance while expecting compliance with our decisions." "They're primitives," snapped Admiral Vex. 300 years of spaceflight doesn't qualify them for equal status." Stone's expression hardened. Primitives don't build dark matter fleets, Admiral. Primitives don't slip past your most advanced sensors and catalog your deepest secrets. Maybe it's time to reconsider your assumptions about human capabilities. To emphasize the point, Stone began broadcasting, not just to the Alliance fleet, but to every inhabited world within 50 light years. The transmission carried footage of the Phantom ships, proof that a new power had emerged in the galaxy. Citizens of the Alliance. Stone's voice reached billions of beings. For too long, your leaders have made decisions based on incomplete information. Today you see the truth. Humanity possesses technology that makes us equal partners, not junior members seeking approval. The political implications were staggering. On 1,000 worlds, populations learned that their supposedly omnipotent alliance couldn't even detect an entire human fleet. Questions would be asked. Leaders would be challenged. The Alliance's aura of invincibility had been shattered in a single afternoon. So, Stone addressed the Alliance commanders, shall we discuss humanity's full membership now, or would you prefer to explain to your people why you're afraid of honest negotiation? The emergency session of the Alliance Council convened within hours. On the neutral station, Harmony's Edge, representatives from all 5 ruling species gathered in their grand circular chamber. But this time the session was anything but harmonious. Ambassador Robert Cole sat in the observers section, no longer the supplicant seeking favors. Behind him, through the transparent walls of the station, dark matter ships maintained their ghostly vigil. The Phantom fleet had followed the diplomats here, a constant reminder that the old rules no longer applied. This is extortion, declared Speaker Veltar of the Keth, his colorful plumage ruffled with indignation. We cannot negotiate under threat of force. What threat? Cole asked politely. Captain Stone's fleet has made no aggressive moves. They've simply made their presence known. Councillor Mirix of the Vorth slammed a scaled fist on her podium. Their presence itself is the threat. Ships that can appear anywhere, see everything, strike without warning. How can we function knowing we're being watched? That was exactly the point, Cole realized. For the first time in centuries, the Alliance faced an opponent they couldn't control or predict. The experience was deeply unsettling for species accustomed to absolute dominance. High Arbiter Quell of the Lux addressed the assembly, her energy form stable despite obvious agitation. We must consider the implications. If humans possess this technology, what prevents other species from developing similar capabilities? The question sent ripples of concern through the chamber. The Alliance's power rested on technological superiority. If that advantage disappeared, their entire galactic order might collapse. Perhaps, suggested Trade Minister Zek of the Nex, we should focus on what the humans actually want. Full membership seemed negotiable. Absolutely not. Speaker Veltar's voice rose to a screech. The Alliance has standards, procedures. We cannot simply abandon our principles because of intimidation. Cole stood slowly. Speaker Veltar, what exactly are these principles? Because from where I sit, the Alliance's main principle seems to be keeping power concentrated among 5 species, while everyone else serves your interests. The accusation hit home. In the gallery reserved for minor species, representatives from dozens of worlds watched the proceedings with obvious interest. For too long they had accepted secondary status as the natural order. Now they saw the Alliance's inner circle thrown into chaos by a single human fleet. Aboard the Phantom Dawn, Captain Stone monitored the debate while his officers worked at their stations. The ship had positioned itself just outside the station's shields, visible to everyone but untouchable by their weapons systems. Sir, reported Lieutenant Mills, we're detecting unusual activity in several Alliance sectors. Military units are being recalled, fleets repositioned. Stone nodded. They're consolidating their forces, preparing for the possibility that other species might be inspired by our example. It was already happening. Intelligence reports showed increased chatter among the Alliance's subject races. The Heck Confederation was openly questioning why they couldn't develop their own stealth technology. The mineral-rich Dor Republic wondered why they needed alliance, permission to explore beyond their home system. Seeds of rebellion were sprouting across the galaxy. "Captain," Communications Officer Reed looked up from his console. "We're receiving a private transmission from Counselor Thren of the Crim." Stone raised an eyebrow. The blue-skinned Crim were known for their pragmatism and technological expertise. If one of them wanted to talk privately, it meant the Alliance's unity was cracking. "Put him through," Stone ordered. Counselor Thren appeared on the main screen, his cybernetic implants glowing softly around his eyes. "Captain Stone, I believe we should speak directly." "I'm listening, Counselor. My people have analyzed your technology. We believe we understand the principles involved, though implementation would take us decades." Thren paused, choosing his words carefully. "We also believe this changes everything." Stone waited. In politics, the first person to speak after a pause usually lost the negotiation. "The Crim propose a different approach," Thren continued. "Instead of fighting this development, we should embrace it. Full human membership, with immediate access to Alliance resources and markets. In exchange, humanity shares certain technological insights that could benefit all members." It was a reasonable offer, but Stone knew the other species would never accept it voluntarily. "What about your Alliance partners, Counselor? Will they agree to such terms?" Thren's expression darkened. "The Keth and Vorth still believe they can maintain the old order through force. The Nex think they can steal your technology through espionage. Only the Lux show any wisdom, and they're more concerned with philosophical implications than practical politics." "So the Alliance is fracturing," Stone observed. "It fractured the moment your ships appeared," Thren admitted. "The question now is whether it breaks apart completely or adapts to new realities." Through the station's observation ports, Stone could see Alliance vessels maneuvering into what looked like defensive positions. But defense against what? His ships could phase through any barrier, appear behind any fleet formation. "Counselor, I appreciate your honesty, but I think your partners need more convincing before they'll accept change." Stone cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "All ships prepare for Phase 2. Time to show the galaxy what else humans can do." The demonstration began at exactly 1400 Galactic Standard Time. Across 12 star systems, Phantom ships materialized above Alliance military installations. Not attacking, simply appearing where they shouldn't be able to exist. On Keth Prime, the homeworld's orbital defense platforms found themselves surrounded by dark matter vessels. The bird-like aliens watched in horror as human ships phased through their most advanced shields, circled their weapons arrays, then vanished back into dimensional flux. At the Vorth shipyards in the Crimson Nebula, construction crews abandoned their posts as Phantom vessels toured the facility. The massive reptilian engineers had built these yards to be impregnable, protected by overlapping force fields and automated defense systems. None of it mattered against ships that existed partially outside reality. But the most dramatic display occurred at Nex Central Command, the Alliance's primary intelligence hub. Captain Stone himself led a squadron of Phantom ships directly through the station's core, their passage recorded by thousands of security cameras. The insectoid species prided themselves on their surveillance networks and predictive algorithms. In 30 seconds, humans made their entire intelligence apparatus look obsolete. "This is madness," shrieked Speaker Veltar during an emergency council session. "They're violating our most sacred spaces." Ambassador Cole watched the Alliance leadership with growing satisfaction. For too long, these species had treated humanity as a curiosity, something to be managed rather than respected. Now they faced the consequences of their arrogance. "Sacred spaces?" Cole asked mildly. "I thought they were military installations. Surely the mighty Alliance isn't afraid of a few human ships taking tours?" High Arbiter Quell of the Lux flickered with distress. "This demonstrates complete tactical superiority. Our defensive doctrine is meaningless against opponents who can bypass every barrier." The admission sent shockwaves through the galaxy. If the Lux, the Alliance's most advanced species, acknowledged human superiority, what did that mean for everyone else? Aboard the Phantom Dawn, Stone received reports from his squadron commanders. The demonstrations were having exactly the intended effect. Alliance military units were paralyzed, afraid to move while phantom ships might be watching. Trade routes slowed as merchants worried about invisible human vessels. The galaxy's economy was grinding to a halt. "Sir," Lieutenant Mills reported, "we're detecting massive fleet movements. The Alliance is pulling ships from outer sectors." Stone studied the tactical display. Red icons showed Alliance vessels converging on their core systems, abandoning frontier patrols and exploration missions. It was the response of a military facing an existential threat. "They're retreating to fortress positions," observed Mills, "consolidating around their homeworlds, which leaves the outer rim completely undefended." Stone smiled. "Exactly what I hoped would happen." The strategic implications were staggering. For centuries, Alliance fleets had maintained order through overwhelming presence. Their ships patrolled every major trade route, protected resource-rich systems, and kept minor species in line. Now those same ships huddled around 5 homeworlds, leaving vast regions of space uncontrolled. The first species to take advantage were the HEC Confederates. Their mining fleets, no longer constrained by Alliance oversight, began extracting resources from previously forbidden systems. When Alliance vessels moved to intercept, they found phantom ships blocking their path, not attacking, just preventing interference. "The humans are actively protecting HEC operations," reported General Crux to the Emergency Council. "They're choosing sides. Or they're demonstrating that the Alliance no longer controls galactic affairs," Cole suggested. "Perhaps it's time to acknowledge that your monopoly on power has ended." The breaking point came when the Door Republic declared independence from Alliance oversight. Their president, emboldened by human support, announced that his people would no longer accept secondary status. Within hours, phantom ships appeared above Door colonies, making it clear that humanity backed the declaration. Speaker Veltar's response was predictable. "This is rebellion. We must restore order immediately." But when Keith battle fleets moved to suppress the Door Republic, they found themselves unable to approach the rebel worlds. Human ships intercepted every vessel, their dark matter hulls immune to Alliance weapons. The reptilian commanders could only watch helplessly as their authority crumbled. Councillor Thran of the Crim called for an emergency vote. "The situation is untenable. We must negotiate before we lose everything." "Never." Veltar's feathers stood on end. "The Alliance does not negotiate with terrorists." That's when High Arbiter Quell delivered the final blow. "I've consulted with the Collective. The Lux formally recognize humanity's right to full Alliance membership. We withdraw our support for any military action against human interests." The chamber erupted in chaos. The Lux had broken ranks, their defection making any unified response impossible. Without their advanced technology and dimensional insights, the remaining Alliance species couldn't hope to counter human capabilities. Stone watched the political collapse from his bridge, feeling no satisfaction in the victory. He had hoped for negotiation, not destruction. But the Alliance had forced this confrontation through their own stubborn refusal to adapt. "All ships," he broadcast to his fleet, "prepare for the final phase. Time to offer the galaxy a better future." 6 months after the Phantom Fleet's revelation, the galaxy looked very different. The old Alliance lay in ruins, its member species scattered to pursue their own interests. In its place, humanity had proposed something unprecedented, a true confederation where all species held equal voice. Captain Stone stood in the observation deck of Earth's newest space station, New Harmony, positioned at the galaxy's crossroads. Through the transparent walls, he watched vessels from dozens of species dock peacefully. Crim technicians worked alongside human engineers. Lux energy beings collaborated with HEC miners. Even some former Alliance hardliners had accepted the new reality. "The Galactic Confederation Charter has been ratified," announced Ambassador Cole as he joined Stone at the viewing port. 47 species have signed so far, with more joining daily. Stone nodded, though his expression remained thoughtful. Victory had come at a cost. The Keth and Vorth remained holdouts, their homeworlds isolated by their own choice. The Nex had fragmented into competing factions, some embracing change while others plotted resistance. "Any word from the Keth leadership?" Stone asked. Speaker, Veltar refuses all communication. Their fleets remain in defensive positions around Keth Prime. Cole shrugged. Pride is a powerful force, Captain. They can't accept that their golden age is over. Through the station's communication array came reports from across the galaxy. The Phantom Fleet, now numbering over 1,000 vessels, maintained peace through their invisible presence. Trade flowed freely along routes once controlled by Alliance monopolies. Scientific knowledge spread rapidly as species shared discoveries without artificial barriers. But the most significant change was philosophical. For the first time in galactic history, military might didn't determine political power. The Confederation's voting system gave equal representation to every member species, regardless of their fleet size or technological level. Sir, Lieutenant, Mills approached with a data pad. She had been promoted to station commander, her expertise in dark matter operations invaluable to the new order. We've received a message from Dr. Park's research team. They've made another breakthrough. Stone, read the report with growing amazement. Earth scientists hadn't been idle during the political upheaval. Working with Lux theorists and Crim technicians, they had developed applications for dark matter technology beyond military uses. Medical devices that could phase through tissue, to perform surgery without incisions. Construction tools that could build structures by manipulating matter at the quantum level. Transportation systems that could move objects instantly across vast distances. The galaxy is about to change again, Stone murmured. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Vex of the Keth stared at intelligence reports with growing despair. The humans weren't content with military victory. They were revolutionizing galactic civilization itself. Every week brought news of some impossible innovation, another barrier broken by dark matter manipulation. Sir, his aide reported, several Keth colonies have requested permission to join the Confederation. They want access to human medical technology. Vex's feathers drooped. His own daughter lived on one of those colonies, suffering from a genetic condition that Keth medicine couldn't cure. Human doctors claimed they could help, but only if the Keth abandoned their isolation. Meanwhile, in the deepest regions of space, something else stirred. The galaxy's expansion had always been limited by natural barriers, cosmic storms, dimensional anomalies, regions where normal spacetime broke down. But phantom ships could navigate these hazards, opening new frontiers that had been unreachable. For millions of years, exploration fleets discovered ancient ruins, abandoned civilizations, and stranger things that defied explanation. The galaxy was far older and more complex than anyone had imagined. Humanity's dark matter technology had unlocked not just new political possibilities, but entirely new realms of existence. Captain, Communications Officer Reed interrupted Stone's thoughts. We're receiving a priority transmission from Admiral Vex. Stone straightened with surprise. The Keth leader had maintained absolute silence for months. Put him through. Vex appeared on the screen, his proud bearing intact despite obvious fatigue. Captain Stone, I request permission to speak. You have it, Admiral. The Keth Supremacy formally requests negotiation regarding Confederation membership. The words clearly pained him. We have conditions, but we're willing to discuss terms. Stone felt a weight lift from his shoulders. With Keth participation, the Confederation would include every major galactic power except the fractured necks and isolated Vorth remnants. Admiral, we'd be honored to welcome the Keth people as equals. When would you like to begin discussions? As the transmission ended, Stone looked out at the bustling station around him. Humans had sought recognition and received it. They had demanded equality and achieved it. But more importantly, they had used their power to lift others rather than dominate them. The Phantom Fleet still patrolled the galaxy's dark spaces, guardians of a new age where cooperation replaced conquest. Humanity had indeed broken the galaxy's strongest alliance, not through destruction, but by offering something better in its place. The age of empires was over. The age of true civilization had begun.